Coming up on the Paper Talk today, we'll be looking at something that probably isn't happening, but we're going to talk about it anyway. We'll also be looking at some things that are happening. Let's check it out. Jay here from Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford and it is absolutely freezing. So if you've got them, put your parkers on. Loads of Manchester United stories to get through this morning. Make sure, before all of that, you are hitting like, share and subscribe to the channel. We want to get to 750,000 subscribers, and with your support, we can get there. Right, let's talk about players that aren't going anywhere. One player who's not moving on is Anthony Martial. I saw this in the evening news. It's been reported in other places as well. He's not moving this window. We kind of knew that anyway, but his agent, I think, has come out and been speaking and sort of confirmed this. Also, his agent was speaking about these reports that Martial has been almost banished from first team training, saying that's not really the case. We know Martial's had this illness that's been dragging on a little bit. He's now back in training, and the recent reports were that he was training on his own. Some papers were reporting that as not just training on his own, but almost like, you know, the manager just doesn't fancy him or is annoyed at his fitness levels, and his agent's kind of saying that that's not the case. He's getting back to full fitness. You have stages, don't you, when you train? First you train on your own, then you train with the team, and that's where he's at. We'll have to wait and see what happens with Martial in the long term. It does look like he's going to go in the summer. He hasn't signed a new deal, and I don't think he's going to get offered one. But in terms of January, he's not going to be going anywhere, according to the latest reports. And if that changes, we'll keep you posted. In terms of comings and goings as well, it looks like the summer is when we're going to do a lot of our business. And defensively, there's a revamp on the cards. I think this is Rob Dawson, I think, had this in ESPN, and he was talking about this defensive revamp. We know a lot of players, defensive players, obviously, sort of coming towards the end of their time at Manchester United or have a big question mark at them, or over them, sorry. You look at Johnny Evans, 35, he's on a short-term deal. Is he going to get his contract extended? Probably not. I think he's done a good job, but are United going to give a 35-year-old another deal? Stranger things happened, but it's unlikely. You look at Raphael Varane, he's been linked with a move away for about a year now. Maybe about 7 months, to be fair. I think that since the summer, there was talk of him going to Saudi Arabia, there was talk of him moving on. He's obviously had injury issues. He's on mega money. There was a time when the manager didn't seem to fancy him. He wasn't getting in the team, and it wasn't just because of injuries. It was because he wasn't getting picked. So it's reported that he could be on the move as well. Then you look at potential incomings. We've been linked with De Ligt. I had this story the other day that Bayern Munich could be up for selling the 24-year-old. I know I keep saying this. I can't believe Matthijs De Ligt is 24 years old. He's been around forever, but he's only 24. Played under Erik ten Hag at Ajax, fits the bill, very talented young defender, and also at Bayern Munich, it seems that he's a little bit, I don't know if I'm stretching it a bit saying surplus to requirements, but he doesn't always get picked, even when he's fit. I think he's had about 5 or 6 starts this season, and some of the times when he has been fit, he hasn't been picked. So maybe there's something to be done there with Matthijs De Ligt. Another player we've been linked with, of course, is Jean-Claire Todibo. That one's been going on forever. Also the Nice link there with Sir Jim Ratcliffe, so maybe there's something in that. We'll keep you posted on that front as well. And Jared Branthwaite from Everton. Everton, I mean, they're in all sorts of trouble, aren't they? There's looking that they could face some more punishments because of FFP. Could Branthwaite be on the move in the summer? I think he could. I think Everton are in that position where almost every player they've got is up for sale if you can pay the right sort of price. And I think Manchester United could probably do that with Branthwaite if he's a player that the manager or the powers that be here fancy. We'll keep you posted on all that, but it looks like there could be a bit of a defensive overhaul or revamp or whatever you want to call it. Now, I want to talk to you about Vinicius Junior because we spoke about this on Transfers Live the other day, and I sort of said, this ain't happening. And I'll be honest, I still don't think it is. But it's been reported, and it's not going away just yet, so we'll talk about it. It was in the evening news, I think, late last night, early this morning, and it was saying that Sport in Spain are reporting that Manchester United could be in for Vinicius Junior. It's going to cost around 130 million quid to get him. Now, the reason that it's being reported this might happen or that Vinicius Junior could move on is this idea that Real Madrid go for Kylian Mbappe. He comes in, maybe he takes the spot on that left-hand side of attack that is Vinicius Junior's, and maybe Real Madrid go, okay, we need to move Vinicius Junior on, and he moves on, and Manchester United come in and pay an extortionate because he's probably worth it, but a lot of money for Vinicius Junior to bring him to Old Trafford. Now, this is deeply flawed for several reasons. One, I think even if Real Madrid get Kylian Mbappe, I don't see him selling Vinicius Junior. He's just scored a hat-trick in El Clasico. He's not going anywhere, I don't think. And I think they'll find a way to fit him in that team, to fit him and Mbappe in that team, sorry. So I think that's very doubtful. Also, is Vinicius Junior going to want to come to Manchester United? Now, we've had players off Real Madrid before. Obviously, we've got Raphael Varane, who I just mentioned. But United aren't exactly tearing up trees. There's a good chance we're not going to be in the Champions League next season. and we've not won a title since 2013. Is Vinicius Junior going to want to leave one of the most successful clubs in the world and come to a club that is still very much in the transitional stage? I don't think so. And thirdly, we've got this new regime in place now. So Jim Ratcliffe, Dave Brailsford, all that sort of get up, where we're going to do things a little bit better in the transfer market. We're going to be a little bit more savvy. We're not going to spend mega bucks on players. Now, Vinicius Junior is worth it, but we've been here before. Angel Di Maria was probably worth it. Paul Labile Pogba was worth it. You could argue that Harry Maguire and Romelu Lukaku were worth it. Did they work out? I mean, some people would say we paid too much for Harry Maguire, and I get that point. But at the time, a lot of those players, you go, okay, yeah, that's what you've got to pay to get those players, and we need them and all the rest of it. And it didn't work out with any of them. So I just don't see this one happening. I'm not going to lie to you. And also, it doesn't look like there's much happening in terms of who's reporting it. Sport reporting it. The Evening News have picked up on it. The Evening News have even done another article, I think, saying it's unlikely. Gary Lineker was laughing about it the other day when Goal reported it. I think he quote tweeted it with laughing emojis. So, highly unlikely. I'm going to stick my neck out and say I don't see it happening. It's being reported. We're being linked with him. We'll keep you posted. Get involved in the comments and the chat and let me know what you think about it. I don't see it happening at all. One thing that is happening is the Glazers still costing Manchester United lots of money. Apparently it's cost us 25 million quid or around that figure to pay the Rain Group to facilitate the takeover or the partial takeover of Manchester United from the Glazers, and the club are getting billed for that, which is just ludicrous, but that's where we're at. It's no secret, is it? The Glazers have cost us lots of money, and they've also got this attitude when it comes to transfers of buy now, pay later. Like we're buying a fridge freezer. I saw Kieran Maguire, who's a big friend of the channel, and he's been on the channel. He's going to be on again next week, I think. He was saying that he did a series of tweets, and he pointed out that United's approach to transfers has changed. Before the Glazers got here, I think we owed about 7 million quid in transfers. Now we owe something like 394 million quid, something ridiculous. Or the amount of debt went up because of transfers under the Glazers, which we know what the debt has gone up. Well, know what's happened with the debt under the Glazers. It just keeps going up, doesn't it? And they had this approach of, okay, we'll get players in now and we'll pay for it later. That was what they were doing with transfers. So you look at it, and you look at the fact we've had to pay the Rain Group to facilitate this. You look at the debt we're in, you look at the approach to transfers under Glazers, and it's just been shambolic, hasn't it? There's no point in denying it, and I don't think anyone is denying it. And I'm just hoping that these positive vibes we're hearing from Sir Jim Ratcliffe are just that. They're more than just positive vibes. We're actually going to see the club moving forward, a proper structure in place, and someone who actually gives a toss about Manchester United at the helm. That would be fantastic. And hopefully, one day, a full takeover as well, because I want to see the Glazers gone. I think that's what most fans want to see. So, yeah, the sooner that happens, the better. Just on Old Trafford as well. Roy Keane's been on the back pages this morning. I think he's on the back of the Star, on the back of the Mirror as well, because he's been sort of criticising and commenting on the fact that Old Trafford is no longer a fortress. In fact, Old Trafford is the opposite of a fortress. I don't know what that is, you can work that out yourselves. But basically any team that comes here fancies a win because they keep getting them, don't they? If you look at this season, it's been pretty awful, our form this season. I think it's 14 defeats across the season. I mean, that's terrible enough, but the fact we've lost so many games at home makes it even worse. You look at some of the losses we've had. Brighton, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Galatasaray. Do I need to go on? I'm making myself depressed. Yes, I know there's lots more, but I'm just going to stop there because, okay, Bournemouth there, you got me. I did another one. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I promise I am stopping now. Yeah, I mean, Keno's been saying, look at the state of it, and he's right to say that because last season, the reason we finished third and did so well in the Cups as well was because we kept winning our home matches. Old Trafford was a fortress. After that initial defeat to Brighton and that initial defeat in the Europa League to Real Sociedad, we just kept winning. We rarely drew. We just kept winning matches, and we beat all the big guns, didn't we? We beat Arsenal, we beat City, we beat Liverpool, we beat Barcelona. This season, it's just been shambolic. So sometimes Keane says something, and you think, okay, a bit OTT, does he need to say that, whatever? But I think he's right. I think it is poor. He probably doesn't need pointing out, but there's nothing wrong with mentioning it. And it's something that Erik ten Hag has got to fix. He's got to fix it sooner rather than later, because we still don't know exactly how the new sort of footballing regime feels about Erik ten Hag. So Jim Ratcliffe was playing his cards pretty close to his chest when he spoke about Ten Hag. So we don't know whether they fancy him, whether they see him as the manager to take the club forward or not. A big point in that decision, or a big way of deciding what's going to happen, may be what happens at the end of the season, where Manchester United are. And if at the end of the season we're sat in 7th and we've kept losing games at Old Trafford, especially if Sir Jim Ratcliffe's been sat in the stands for some of them, it ain't going to do Erik ten Hag any favours in it, is it, in keeping his job? So We need to turn that around. We need to turn Old Trafford into the fortress it was last season. We need to do it sooner rather than later. I'm going to wrap it up there. Make sure if you're not doing, you check out all the other videos that are on the channel. We had Off the Bar yesterday with myself, Adam McCullough, Stephen Howson and Joe Smith. We've got The Brew coming up later on as well. So make sure you check that out. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I've been Jay Motty outside a very cold Old Trafford. Thanks for watching.